to see the counselor then for the feelings of anxiety that I was getting, which was primarily overwhelmingly physical symptoms. Now, the interesting thing is, I was not so much aware of what was happening to me mentally. I mean, I was functioning in terms of I was doing everything in my life, but um, uh, I always I had that sense of optimism. I had my my faith, and I knew things would get better and things would improve with more and all of that. So it's not like I was depressed, or at least that's what I thought. But my physical symptoms were debilitating. So, chest tightness, breathing issues, palpitations, and so on, and especially in social circumstances when I was out of my home. So then I said, okay, let me go see a counselor. And when I went to see the counselor, she was a Westerner, and you know she didn't really click with me. She spoke about how as a mother I needed to sort of perhaps grieve the loss of the perfect child, and so she was being very empathetic and all in her approach, but I just felt that this is not what I need. I love my child. I've accepted that he's on the spectrum. So I mean, she's saying things to me that I already know, so there's basically no point in continuing. So I just said, okay, after 2 3 sessions, I didn't go to her. But then my symptoms were not going anywhere. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I had tried homeopathy for 3 years. I had tried yoga, meditation, did a course of art of living, and multiple other things, all the alternative um, routes. I'd taken those because I wanted to avoid medication. But then I realized that, okay, enough is enough. I can't take this anymore. This is really wearing down my mental fabric. And before I have a breakdown, I should go on medication. And now, taking medication or antidepressants in the culture that I come from, which is basically Southeast Asian, is or was at least in those times considered like a big deal. So there's this word that I remember being used in my childhood, pagal hai, ye to pagal hai. For instance, which basically means that uh, this person is mad, this person is crazy. If they are going to see a psychiatrist or seeing a counselor or taking some kind of, a medication, like Prozac was a big thing, a big no-no, right? So I went with that kind of a mindset that, oops, I am going to now indulge in something which is going to be looked upon negatively and this and that. But honestly, I mean, at that point, I had no choice. I felt I had no choice. So I went to see a GP. Rather than a psychiatrist, I went to see a GP because I guess it was, it was easier, more accessible. And then, of course, the term psychiatrist comes with even more negative connotations. And so the GP gave me, now I forget the name of that particular antidepressant, but it was one of those that acts really, really fast. Like it's not an SSRI. I think it's tricyclical an antidepressant that came under the category of that. So anyway, she gave me a few pills and she said, you know what, this is going to act instantly and see what happens. You should feel better. Your anxiety symptoms will come down. And so I took those couple of pills, and oh my God, the the impact or the side effects of that medication were immense. They were awful. So it uh, doped me out completely. I felt like I was in some kind of an alternate zone. And the specific scene I remember so clearly in my mind is when I was in a mall going up the or down an escalator with my children, and I'm thinking to myself, am I here? Am I not here? I don't know if I'm here. I had to pinch myself to feel the present, to feel myself present. So it was absolutely awful. I felt like, oh God, I can't deal with this. This is just too much. I don't know what it's doing to my brain, and getting brain zaps and stuff like that. And I went to the GP and I said, you know what, this is not going to work for me. Then she's the one who referred me to a psychiatrist, and that's how I ended up with my psychiatrist, who to this day, if I need to go see someone to manage my medication, it's the same person.